podcast today. Going to be a bit of a lengthy one with our guest, Stephanie Baltes from the Lucas County Health Department. I believe I've talked about this on the podcast. I know I've done a little bit of it on the radio. You know that food and why are you paying so much for that shrinkflated bag of Doritos has been a big thing for me. The Healthy Corner Store Initiative wants to put, as you might have guessed, healthier foods in small stores around Toledo and certain zip codes. We'll get to Stephanie in just a couple of moments here. A couple of things real fast. No more car washes, no more storage units allowed in Toledo until they conduct a study that says, is this a good use of the land? The answer is probably going to be, probably not. And I know a lot of people have said, what's up with all the car washes? And the answer I see most often is, well, the subscription model really got people. And I get it. We live in a cold, snowy, wintry city, and you want to get all that junk off your car when it snows so much in the wintertime. I've always wondered, why do we need all these storage unit places? Didn't everybody get in on Marie Kondo and you trim down and you got real austere with your living? You know, if you don't need it, if you haven't used it, if you haven't worn it in months at a time, get rid of it. We certainly have plenty of garage sales. So why the need for all the storage units? And I'm actually asking that legitimately. There's been some accidents. People flying from the roundabout into people's homes in South Toledo, the one at the end of Byrne and where it hits Detroit. So much of a problem, they put a big TOL sign on it. I thought it should say STOL for South Toledo. It looks like they want to put some signs giving people a heads up, flashing lights, rumble strips, whatever, that a roundabout is coming so a few people don't almost run into people's homes or come in and out of that thing in a dangerous way. You know, I do everything I can to get you stories that you might not hear about. This one I missed. There's the African American Festival at the Huntington Center on Saturday. Jagged Edge is the headliner. I don't know how I missed this. I get it. They're urban R&B group. They've had a bunch of hits. Let's Get Married was a massive song. We played Where the Party At? Big song. Promise, He Can't Love You. Some ballads of theirs before they really broke big. They're going to be at the Huntington Center. And I'm surprised I'm just hearing about this. I might do this. I'll let you know. UT is considering, well, they're going to add some new colors to their, I think it's midnight blue and yellow. Of course, people are a little troubled by this, but they're only going to be accents. The magenta accent will be for academic materials, and the teal will be an accent for healthcare marketing. And we know how big healthcare is when it comes to UT, UTMC, and all that things, and all those things. So magenta and teal is accent colors. And for anybody that has an issue with that, I go, look at the football team. Oregon University, 10, 15 years ago, started an arms race when it came to college football uniforms and helmets, and they were ahead of the game. They constantly, like week to week, changed their uniforms, pants, jerseys, helmets every week, and that appealed to kids they wanted to recruit. It eventually spread all over college football. Now, I don't know how many games during the season UT wears the same uniforms, and they get pretty far away from blue and yellow. I think some of the uniforms are all black. So if you are bugged by the accents being added, I ask you to look at maybe your excitement for the different uniforms every week, which gets away from tradition with football. Let's dive into a tasty and I think healthy discussion now with Stephanie Baltes from the Lucas County Health Department about the Healthy Corner Store Initiative. Lots of money to these stores that want to sell fruits and vegetables. No need to be nervous. Thank you for coming. How do I pronounce your last name, Stephanie?
Baltes.
Baltes.
Yep.
And what exactly is your position at the Lucas County Health Department?
I am a registered dietitian,
okay,
and I am currently the, I guess you could say, program manager for the Healthy Food Small Market Program, but I like to just call it the Healthy Corner Store Initiative to make things easier.
Got it. I love this. I'm so glad that we can coordinate this. I don't usually do this, but this hits close to me in the sense that I think these are some pretty solvable problems. I usually just ask questions and we have a conversation. Heather knows that. I'm going to throw four things at you, and then we'll kick off our dialogue, okay?
Okay.
I had always wanted ProMedica to copy and paste their Market on the Green in different spots around the city. That the place had higher prices than I expected, but it was such a great idea. So that's one. Number two, my other idea, which I have ideas, I can't execute them, not my thing. I would love a mobile farmers market. People love our farmers markets in the area. It would be great to get like some old school bus and take it to all these food deserts and let these people like bring the healthy food to them. Number three, fruits and vegetables. Even when things were super, super expensive, were not that expensive, and all those prices have seemingly come back down. So it's a benefit to get those things. And even when people would probably push back, something you probably hear often is, well, the organic stuff is so expensive. We'll just buy the non-organic. It's better than frozen pizza. And then the last thing was, it's I believe it's really hard to outrun your DNA. Like I say that I have crappy DNA in a lot of ways. It's hard to outrun it. But if you do put better things in your body, it gives you a better chance. And from a societal standpoint, I think we all hate getting really pricey medical bills. And if we all put better things in our body, less trips to the doctor, costs could potentially come down in healthcare. So this Healthy Corner Store initiative, as you can see, as I've illustrated, is a huge passion point of mine. So spiel away. Let's talk all about this. Let's put some good foods in people's bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. So with our program, I started working on this essentially the beginning of the year. So the city of Toledo subcontracted with the Toledo Lucas County Health Dept, and that's where I am. I am running the program, and I am working in a partnership with both the city of Toledo and the health department. I have worked with a phenomenal team. So to your point, I have worked closely with ProMedica and Market on the Green, so that way I can get that expertise that they have.
Sure.
I have a lot of phenomenal community partners on my team and on my committee. So the last 6 months, the committee and I have really taken our time to do our due diligence to make this program to be as successful and sustainable and impactful to the community that we can be. I'm very proud of the team that I have, and I'm really excited to continue to take that into the community. With the program, I don't know if you want me to just jump into it.
Please.
So with the program, we are creating an application. I created a notice of funding availability, so a NOFA for short, which outlines all the nitty gritty details. I kind of felt like I was going back into college writing a research paper, but on the Lucas County Health Department website, you can find the NOFA, which has all of the information you could want about the application. I also have an application that I worked really hard with my team to make it as impactful and hopefully easy for corner store owners to apply to. We have the application in English, Arabic, and Spanish. We also have it online. So if people want to complete the application online, they can do it that way, which is pretty phenomenal.
Can I go into the big neon lights thing here?
Yeah.
It's $20,000 through like 2026 for these small corner stores. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of restrictions. There's a bunch of zip codes that you're targeting. Mm-hmm. You are sitting here, and I think it's 6 of them will be selected, correct? You're sitting here, so I'm guessing you have not selected the 6, or applications are still ongoing?
Correct. So we just rolled out the application phase, I guess you could say. That started June 17th, and that is going to close in about 2 weeks. So July 31st is going to be our cutoff. So any paper applications need to be turned into the health department. By then, all of our online applications will need to be submitted because that will close. And then at that point, the committee is going to do a blind review of the applications because we want it to be equitable and fair.
Are there specific things that you're looking for outside of the basic guidelines, which is like store space and things like that? Neighborhoods, one neighborhood over another, location or anything? So
we are really focusing on the city of Toledo. We want it to be a low-income, low-access area code. So we are looking for corner stores that are within 43604 through, and I'm saying through because I'm not going to list them all.
Right, it's a lot.
43604 through 15 and 20.
Could you give me an example? Because one of the reasons, as Heather knows, I like bringing things my way like this so we can get the word out in a larger space. Is there anybody, or where you drive around the city and go, that place should apply? And I'm not asking for a specific place, but could you kind of paint the picture of what that place might be, of who should apply for this?
Yeah, so kind of to that point, the one thing that I have loved this last month with the application being open is I have reached out and had a lot of partnership, or I don't want to say partnership necessarily, but I have had a lot of opportunities to meet one-on-one with neighborhood organizations within the city, different community groups, different coalitions to explain the program. And from that, I have been able to hear the need. For example, there is an area that I met with, and one of the coalition members was like, I live in this area. I can tell you if I want fruits and vegetables, it's not accessible.
Yeah.
So I have to take a bus and go somewhere else. And that hit home to me, where I was like, these are areas of need, and this is why this program is needed, because people may not be able to walk a mile to get to a grocery store. Mm-hmm. They may not be able to get on a bus and transport it back. We need to bring it within the communities. It needs to be affordable, accessible. It's got to be there. So, I mean, it's hard to say, I could say, yes, this area needs it, this area doesn't, because unfortunately, Toledo has such a high area need.
A tangent of this, and I'm sorry if this is not your expertise here, but how do you feel when we have food deserts? How do you feel when there's a food desert, but there's like a dollar store there? I guess I've kind of spun my thinking of, well, I guess, Doritos are not great, and they're very expensive now. Junk food is very, very, very pricey now. But I guess it's better than nothing. How do you feel about those places filling voids where somebody can't get to a Kroger or a Monet's? And if you don't want to slam,
that's a good question. No, I
okay.
I think there's an area for improvement. I will say I have seen certain dollar stores that are doing a very similar aspect of what I'm doing, where you walk in and they do have fresh produce. I know it's been on like a trial and error basis throughout the country. So I'm hoping that although there are Dollar Generals or dollar stores all around, I'm hoping that what we are all doing will catch on, whether it is a convenience store or a Dollar General. As long as we can bring healthy and affordable food to the public and to our community, then I'm okay with it. I think we just really need to work together. And like I said, I've seen it coming, and I, would love to reach out to talk to them more about that and if I could help. But if it's there, I hope we can bring it all together.
Give me some numbers now. It's it's $20,000 over a period of time. You've got to have certain things with the store, size, space. Give me some of those numbers if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have some eligibility requirements. That kind of started when the ordinance passed with the city of Toledo. We are requesting that the store has to be less than 5,000 square feet of space. They have to accept SNAP. They need to have the Toledo Lucas County Health Department retail food establishment license, which, is through our sanitarians and our environmental health. If applicable, they do need the city of Toledo convenience store license. And finally, not part of a chain, gas station, or franchise.
And then what do they have to use the money on?
Yep. So to your point, we'll award 6 stores, and the 6 stores can get up to $20,000. We are able, I'm really excited about this. We are able to do a lot. So we will work with the store owner, and that's going to be kind of like our second round interview. I'm going to do like a sit down, kind of like, have a conversation and be like, what does your store need? Because all corner stores are very different. They all have very different sizes. They have different offerings. So I'm going to work, I kind of say that I'm going to become their corner store owner's best friend. I'm going to work very closely with them to see, what does your store need? Where can we make the funding work? How can we do this together? So we can do major and minor equipment. So if they potentially can handle a refrigeration unit or a freezer, we can work to get that. If they have space for a produce stand, we can work to do that to bring in fresh produce. the funding can also be used for other healthy food options, so it doesn't have to necessarily just be fresh canned frozen fruit and veggies, but also we can look at working with the corner store owner, their current vendors, and seeing what other healthy foods can we bring in.
Where might that food come from? Would it be local places, local farmers?
So yeah, we are currently, looking to partner with the different partners in the area. We've identified some that we could potentially work with. We're hoping eventually, if the food hub becomes viable down at the Erie Street Market, we can kind of look at that. So we do have some different options. I think that's going to really come down to the corner store owner, what they're comfortable with, how we can help them, because I know some already have their partnerships, and I'm not going to interrupt that. But if they don't, I am absolutely all in on finding those partnerships for them.
Because it's your program, you've got to see around the corners. You've got to predict the future. The money only goes through, I think, the end of 2026.
Correct.
What happens if these places are thriving, but they still need the money at some point? What are you working on in that regard?
So our goal is to work with the corner store owner over the next 2 years to help them figure out what sells, what their customers want. Because I'm going to do a lot of community engagement. So I'm going to see we can show through data that this is what's going to sell. So you can do that. Hopefully, have that partnership and relationship that the corner store owner does feel comfortable going forward with them. I don't want to just drop them. I want to make sure they're good and sustainable. And I also want to show that this can work. It's proven before. They have had some corner store initiatives previously. Some corner stores still sell the same produce or have the same stands produce. So we know it can work. And I know that the city will come together because it is such a passionate topic right now. And even just meeting with all the different community organizations, everybody wants to help. So we can hopefully find funding. Could
you give me an example of a place where this has worked? It doesn't have to be completely specific, but just something that, like you just referenced, where we know this can work and help communities, people, neighborhoods, everything. Yeah. So when I started this job a few months ago, two of my really wonderful coworkers, Melissa and Amy, have worked on a previous Healthy Corner Store initiative. So they were great enough to take me on a little field trip. So we went to 3 stores that they had previously worked with. And the first store that we went in, and he was one of their original in 2012, and he still has a produce stand. Produce was fully stocked in there. Where was this?
Seaway.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Safeway. Sorry. Safeway off Broadway.
Okay.
And fully stocked. He still even has the holder for recipes. So, those are things we really want to bring in nutrition education. The second store we went to, she also had her original stand, produce in it. The third store we went to didn't have it, but they also had changed ownerships. But when we talked to them, they're like, hey, that would be great. It's just we, don't have it. Is
Safeway too big for this project of yours?
Nope. So they are absolutely eligible to apply if they want to. And through talking to those corner store owners who previously participated, that's where we really realized there's going to be different needs. Some people might want more marketing. Some people might want more produce purchases. Some might want a bigger, something more of a refrigeration unit. So we'll just kind of work with it, but it's great to have those conversations.
It's great to have that flexibility where if there's somebody who's like, look, people come in here all the time and they eat this stuff like crazy. I just need to get the word out. It's great that there's there's less limitations in a grant like this.
Yep.
Let me go backwards. You said you had gone into communities and there was a positive response to this. Have you been places, as we have Heather sitting here as well, who has 2 little boys who probably revile anything that ever comes green on their plate? One of the things whenever I have these discussions, and it's not often, but I see it from friends and whatnot. Well, my kids won't eat that. It's chicken nuggets, frozen pizza. What in that regard to this have you encountered? Is it the kind of person to be like, well, look, if you let me buy it, I'm going to feed them some darn lettuce?
I don't know if I really encountered that yet. But one of my goals and what I'm really excited to do too as a dietitian, and I previously have worked in WIC, which is counseling infants, children, and pregnant women, that I have had experience counseling picky eaters and children, and I have my own kids. So part of the program too is working with the community where I will be able to host food demonstrations tailored towards kids, towards teenagers even. We have the option to do those type of outreach programs where I'm not only just going to put the produce here, I'm also going to teach you how to use it. And we have recipe books that we're going to give and, making sure that we're going to put it there, but how can you eat it? What are you going to cook with? And I know a lot of it also comes back to culture and heritage. And, I'm going to work with different partners to be able to provide to the community what they want. I'm not going in there to tell people hey, you need to eat this many fruits and vegetables a day. What is it the community wants? What are you going to eat? How do you want to learn how to prepare it? Let's do that. And, luckily with my job, I have that option and I have such great support from the administration that I can do that, which is really exciting.
Maybe you heard some of my passion for it. Do you have a similar passion or maybe a lot of head shaking when you see people complaining about the cost of food? And I'm like, why would you pay $5.99 for a shrinkflated bag of Doritos anyway? And people complaining about the cost of sodas. And look, I'm not saying cut it out of your diet, but the cost isn't going to come down if you keep buying it.
Yeah.
And again, there are these other alternatives and options. It's been great to see a lot more people and you've probably seen this, people more open-minded to store brands now because they see it's the same thing. And where has your head been with people's frustration with prices of foods that really aren't good for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a reality. And I think that's where the community engagement and the education will come into play. I think if you can work with the community and show them hey, you can get a bag of chips for $5.99, but look at the options of fruits and vegetables you can get. I think there's also been that, fruits and veggies are expensive, but I think when you can show them how they can make it last into meals and whether it's frozen fruits and veggies, there's things you can do, but it's the education piece that we really need and is lacking. And I can do that. And I want to do that. And, I hope that I can make it happen for the community.
Where did the concept of fruits and vegetables are expensive come from? Was it just an easy out to not buy them? Or was it more of they were thinking everything is organic and everything is expensive when that's not really the case?
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know. Okay. I'm not really sure.
Because my lettuce at Monette's is 3 for $5 sometimes. And I can't, I'm only one person, but there's times when I get my fruits and vegetables, I'm tossing stuff because I can't eat all of what I bought for the week. But I'm okay tossing it because one, it might be about to go bad and I can just go buy more for such a lesser cost. Yeah,
I think too, a lot of it comes down into the food insecurity and food access and not having the funds to even buy it. So when you really may not have the income or resources to buy anything, it may seem very overwhelming to pay, however much a price for a bag of lettuce. So sometimes that could just be, a real big barrier of just socioeconomic status and, just the different social determinants of health that certain people face within the city.
There is a dissonance, an incongruity that I think people have this mental block. And that's why I'm glad there's such an education part of this, where one of the things that might have been overlooked for the average person with ProMedica's Market on the Green is they had a kitchen upstairs. And they did lots of demonstrations. I would challenge somebody who would say, I can't buy that bag of lettuce for $3.99. Okay, well, get your Doritos for $4.99. Right. And if you really if push came to shove, I don't know if people will really have answers. And it just seems like habits we've built up over the years. And in a way, predatory marketing. We don't market lettuce, we market Doritos. Yeah. So
well, and I think the hard part too is people don't know how to prepare it, and that's not their fault. Some people may just grow up not knowing how to cook or how to use, kitchen utensils, like how to chop it up, or like just different ways to cook it and prepare it. So again, it comes back to that education of, we can get it. It's easier to eat a bag of Doritos than it is to make a salad, because you may not, and I know that sounds silly, but realistically there is a barrier there where, not knowing how to prepare it, and that's where like those cooking demos will come into hand.
It's like we have financial illiteracy, we have food illiteracy to a degree as well.
Yeah.
So this is such a great opportunity for these 6 places that will be chosen. Where is the quickest place for them to go to get involved?
Yeah, absolutely. If you visit the Lucas County Health Department website, so it's just lucascountyhealth.com. We do have a healthy food small market page. On that page, we have the NOFA I mentioned earlier, so you can read all the details. We have a link to the online application. We have a link to download the application. Again, it could be in English, Arabic, or Spanish. We have a video that I did if you want to go watch it. So we have all the information on our website. My contact information is on the website. I'd be happy with any community partners if they want to reach out to talk about it more too. I'm always open, looking to make more contacts and friends in the city. But you can find everything at our website at lucascountyhealth.com.
Any at-large general insight that you could pass along as your background as a dietitian?
Oh gosh,
like independent of this program, like I said, little things that might grind your gears in a way, or things that tips and hints you offer to people, and they kind of have like an oh wow moment. Like, I didn't know that it would only take me like 3 minutes to make an egg or something like that, or a myth that we might dispel about foods.
That's a good question. Gosh, I don't know. You really got me there. I don't know. I think start small. I think, a lot of times being thrown at you is you have to eat 5 servings of fruits and veggies a day. That can be a lot for someone who doesn't eat it once a month. So start small, make a goal. Hey, I'm going to have a serving of fruit this week. Do it great. Next week, try for 2. Like, just give it a try. Start small, add it in, and then celebrate those wins. I read a book once that was like, if you can make a habit stick, if you can get to the 30-day mark and then the 60-day, then it's most likely to stick for a habit. So
it becomes a lifestyle change.
Yeah, I mean, it's even with like just eating healthy or working out, start small. I'm going to go for a walk once a week. Next week, go twice. Just go small and be proud of yourself for what you do.
How much does that stuff pay off? Like, most people don't make changes in their life until the mirror hits them hard, or they have some medical issue, diabetes, high blood pressure, and they get scared into making changes. Can you talk about how important these changes actually are? And to go back to what I first pointed out, like how these things will save you money. Like, even if you want to go the organic route, it's hard to see the forest through the trees, but if you're paying a little bit more for what you put in your body, maybe it's less trips to the doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fewer prescriptions. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, taking care of your body now will pay off immensely, down the long run. And I think it is hard because you're not going to see your results like that day. Like, I'm not going to eat a banana and lose like 5 pounds, so I think that's where it's hard, because you got to be committed to your health, whether it is healthy eating or physical activity. But there's so much science and data that shows why it's necessary and how it is helpful. Even like with the gut microbiome is so like important. Like, that's such a huge topic now too, that like fruits and veggies and fiber affect that. Like, there's just so much research and data that shows you got to do it. So that way, you're not going to have cardiovascular disease or hypertension or type 2 diabetes or any other health issues. You can help prevent that by making healthy choices now. And, that's kind of where we want to go with this. Is it's not too late. We can get into the communities and we can help. Cardiovascular disease is one of the top killers in Lucas County, and we can
everywhere, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we hear about cancers and those scary things, big flashing lights, and many of us are affected with it in too many ways. But heart disease is still taking people out more than anything, right? Yeah.
So I mean, like, just making I guess trying to care now and to prevent is a big thing, and hopefully with my program, I can work with the community to see value in that. So we can start seeing changes in Lucas County and our residents.
Are there Are there, which way did I want to go with this? Are there new food trends coming out that aren't necessarily good? I mean, everything is cyclical. Are there new trends coming out that you kind of raise an eyebrow out in the fact that like, oh, this is going to be a thing? Like, and this is maybe not the best example, but I'm not really into the nasty food categories, as you can probably tell. Energy drinks. They like the Red Bullization of the world. I know many are now sugar-free, no calories. Are there any trends out there like that you'd go as a dietitian, watch out for this?
Gosh, I'll be honest, I haven't researched that in a while just because my focus has been the last 10 years, like specifically like infants, kids, and pregnant women and breastfeeding and postpartum women, that I can't off the top of my head say one specific thing just because you hear it all. Like there's always something new, and the hard part is with like TikTok and Instagram, you're always going to have these experts with no degree and no backgrounds.
Pseudoscience.
Putting it all out there. Yeah. And, people, and it's just hard to just, take the time to do the research of what is out there. And if you're interested in it, and if you're not sure, reach out to a reputable source that has a license in that area. More
basically speaking, when it comes to what we put in our body, and this is, I think, something that we were kind of taught at different ages. Like you just mentioned, like do your research, read the label.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's something that you can pass along to somebody that like is a big red flag? Like let's say they know calories, they see fat, and blah blah blah. What's a red flag that people often overlook at something they're putting into their body? Is it the sugar? Is it sodium things? One thing that I learned not that long ago was if you can't pronounce it on the label, it's probably not good for you.
Well, the hard part about that is like, because some of those are really specific science names.
The fewer ingredients, the better?
Yeah, I would say definitely that. Watch your serving sizes. I think that's a big thing too, is I think when you actually take the time, like if you really, are watching what you're eating, using a utensil to actually measure and learn your serving sizes, because I think you'd be surprised at like, how big or small a serving size actually is.
Size of your fist for certain things?
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, on the food label, it always tells you like what the serving size is for that food. So, if you're, eating a slice of bread, like a serving size would be one slice of bread. So I guess that's not the best example.
But if somebody sees like in a bet, we'll go back to Doritos.
Chips, yes.
190 calories, but there's 5 servings in the bag. It's not 190 calories.
But then if you eat a whole entire bag, you got to, multiply that by 5, and you're going to be eating like way over the recommended serving size for that.
My portion control sucks. That's why I'm kind of like a salad addict. Yeah. The way I tricked my brain into it was I can pile all the green stuff in there because that satiates me, putting things into my mouth repeatedly. Oh God, what was one of the other things? What's another thing that people often miss maybe with ingredients or things like that? You mentioned serving size. That's popular. With that, probably a decent investment when things are a little shadowy, like a food scale maybe for people that can afford it? Yeah,
I mean, absolutely. If, that is, accessible to you, you could definitely go that way.
How about people that like to eat out often, whether it's fast food, casual fast, really nice restaurants? What are things that get by people in those places that if they're looking to be healthier, what are some changes they can make in those places?
Yeah, there's definitely, things you can do. You can always look to have like the grilled chicken versus fried. You can get like a fruit or vegetable as your side instead of French fries. Again, looking at your portion size. One thing we learned in school, especially with like counseling, you can ask for a box right away. You don't have to wait till the end. So if you really are wanting to watch your portion sizes and making sure that you're, not stuffing yourself full, get a take-home box right away. Cut your serving that you want to eat now, put the rest away, and then it's off the plate, and you don't feel like you're going to have to overindulge. So even just something like that, that makes a difference. And then you got 2 meals.
Hidden, I think hope people know about the hidden calories or overlooked calories in drinks. Not only is your Starbucks $8, but it's 1,800 calories.
Yeah.
Any way to shave off some bad things in drinks that people have? Like alcohol is one thing that people might overlook. Are there safer ways to go with alcohol? Not as far as intoxication and consumption, but like beer is not good as opposed to like vodka and something diet, right?
Oh gosh.
Is this not your?
How about we just drink water?
Okay. Well,
No, I mean, there are like, tips and tricks, but I think that's where like I don't want to make a blanket statement, because with being a dietitian and counseling, you really learn that everyone is very individualized. So you want to work with someone to figure out, like, I could tell you to switch out something, but if you don't like it, what's, the point? So I think, just kind of figuring out.
I was thinking more of the people who are like, I just can't figure out why, my blood pressure is not coming down, why I'm not losing weight.
Yeah.
Well, you're still putting all that whipped cream on your Starbucks.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And you can, offer for the skim. You can go for the skim milk. Don't get the extra cream on there. Or, like, again, you could just try to drink half of it and save some for the other day, so you're not just drinking it all in one serving. But, just how about you drink some water too?
Yeah. Water can satiate your appetite as well. Something I learned a long time ago is you might not be hungry. Maybe you're more thirsty. Is that a real thing, or is that like an old wives' tale?
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's going to be one of the things when you are starting to feel a little bit dehydrated. You might be like, oh, I need to eat, but like try drinking a glass of water. And, sometimes too in counseling when we're talking about weight loss, you'll say, hey, why don't you try to drink some water first? And that way, too, it'll give you time to feel full a little bit. And, you may not eat as much if you really are looking to lose weight and kind of cut down that way.
I've started to track more things as I get into my mid-40s now. My DNA gets even worse. But I've always been a big water drinker. I'd like to say that, like, I drink three things: alcohol, coffee, which I actually kicked, like black coffee, and water. I have my water bottle, and I do like 7 of those a day. I don't know how much that is, but one of the other benefits I've found is you get some steps in. Walking to the bathroom, which you go to multiple times per day. It's like a third of my day is now peeing. So if I'm peeing, I can't be eating at the same time either. Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know if I'll take that back to like, the clinic in my house.
It's not scientific, but it's definitely anecdotal.
No, but definitely, I mean, staying hydrated is going to be, so important. So, really focus on your water intake every day. The last gem that I learned, and I forget where was, and I think I intuitively knew it, but speak to this as one last question. Stay on the perimeter of where you shop, right? Of supermarkets and stuff. The perimeter is best? Yeah. I mean, that comes from a lot of stores definitely, put more of the extra sugary contents and foods and stuff like towards the middle, like all the extra snacks and sugary cereals and stuff like that, where the perimeter will offer more of your produce. You could shoot for like the low fat dairy, eggs, things like that. Like that typically is around the outside. When you get into the middle, it's more of like the snacks and chips and cereals. Like if it didn't die, grow, or come out of the ground, it's probably not the best for you. There's no Dorito tree. Right. No, but I mean, you also have to keep in mind everything in moderation. You have to enjoy life too. That, no one's here to tell you like never eat chips ever again. You can, but you also don't need to eat an entire bag in one sitting. You can alternate with having a salad, and then maybe later, have a handful of chips or something. So it's not like all or nothing, we always say. And I know people like roll their eyes, but like moderation is true. Like you can't just deprive yourself if it's something that you enjoy, because we all are humans. And your brain and body will change. Like if you think you're giving it all away, but you really just go to moderation, at some point in time, if you're committed to it, you might not think you need to eat all that anymore. And just a handful of something is good enough. With that, I thought of one last thing. Sorry, and I apologize. This is a newish frontier that we're all learning about. And I don't know if from that you know where I'm going, but the GLP-1 medications, the Wegovy's and things like that. You might have noticed, I am no scientist.
But from what we've seen at the beginnings of these, they're in many ways life-saving, and I wonder if they will not be one of the great scientific, medical, and health discoveries of this century, simply because the sense of they do rewire your brain to my friend Maj that you work with. Like, she told me she used to like alcohol, and she's like, I can't drink certain things anymore. Yeah. My brother is not on one of the big popular ones like the Ozempic, but he lost 25 pounds. And this thing rewired his brain where he's like, he just doesn't want to eat as much as he used to. And I had read some things where other vices in people's habits, smoking and things like that, it's also rewiring them in that sense where they don't have those desires anymore. Where are you with these medications?
I'm going to be very honest. I have not researched enough to make a comment, just because that has not been my area as a dietitian. Again, going back to just counseling, like children and infants. So I would look at the science and data, work with your health provider. I think everyone is a very individualized case. So I don't have one way or the other because I don't know. I don't have the research. I haven't studied it as much as potentially a weight loss dietitian. With being a dietitian, there are very different aspects that you can focus on. And I am more like just like the public health community point. So I haven't taking that time. So I don't know. On
an outer scale of what you do, is it interesting or fascinating to you? Because I think one good example, and Heather, if you want to go back to the news, you should dig up the story of, I don't think it was the mayor's Peloton that helped him lose all that weight as quickly as he did. And I wish he would actually discuss his weight loss journey. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he's a lot smaller than he was. And for whatever the reason, weighing less, I think, generally is better than weighing more. Being overweight, obese doesn't mean you're necessarily unhealthy, but still, I would love for him, especially with a project like this and where he lives. We got some big eaters, not only in Toledo, but Northwest Ohio. I'd love for him to share like how he went about this, even if it's to stimulate somebody to go, you know what, I could do that too, even if it's a shot in the stomach every day. Because some of us, you can run all you want, and you just can't outrun that DNA, and you need a little bit of help, just like you would with blood pressure medication. The whole thing fascinates the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. I'm glad about the mayor stuff. Thanks again for being a part of this. Any other great food nuggets, no pun intended, you could throw out or offer? I think this program is wonderful. I hope we can be a pioneer in this for so many different places, because vegetables taste good. Even cook them up as well.
Right. Yeah. No, I think what I've really come to love with what I do and what I've been doing is seeing how many community partners are all very passionate about community health, the city. And I know sometimes like it may not seem that way, but just from what I have seen, there's so many amazing workers in our city that are trying to help. So I just want to give kudos to all those workers, because I think we can all come together and, have a healthy city. We can move forward. So I'm really excited to keep that going, and I'm excited to bring in corner store business owners into this project, as well as other community partners, and kind of just have a really great program.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, maybe one of these days, thanks to your work, we'll be on those lists with like healthiest cities like Denver and San Diego. Right. And then there's little formerly chubby Toledo in the list now. We've got the parks to certainly work it out, right?
Yeah, we have amazing parks, and we can do it.
Again, thanks so much. This was awesome.
Thank you.